Right, just make sure. I'll wait on.
Tell us what's going on.
Okay. So, good morning. We're here to provide you an update with reference to the 3 missing children from in the Sam Houston National Forest. My name is Lieutenant Scott Spencer. I'm with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. So, just to reiterate some of the details from last night, about 8 p.m., the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office received a call reference to 3 lost children here in the Flamingo Lake subdivision off of Julie Lane. When deputies arrived, they discovered that the 3 children were going from one residence to another using a trail that they've commonly used before to go to the residences and had not showed up at either house. The children use this trail all the time, so do other kids in the neighborhood, to avoid the main road, which doesn't have a lot of lighting and is very narrow. When the deputies arrived, they searched the area, were unable to locate the children. Search residences, were unable to locate the children. At that time, we activated additional resources, including the Montgomery County Search and Rescue. Into the early morning hours, we continued search efforts. We placed personnel into the woods. We had dogs, we had helicopters, drones, all the type of technology, night vision equipment we needed to continue the search. But just after 3 a.m., the search was called off, actively inside the woods, but first responders remained on scene. This morning, the first responders, along with the Montgomery County Search and Rescue, the Forestry Service, have entered the woods again and are actively looking for the children. We have no new information other than we are in the woods. We have all the resources on hand that we possibly need. We have all the supplies on hand that we need. The Sheriff's Office, as well as you guys, have been inundated with requests from help from the community, and we are so grateful and blessed to have a community that is so supportive and want to help and get involved. But at this time, we don't need any additional resources or help. In fact, if personnel come down, they could actually cause a hindrance to the search efforts by contaminating the scene or getting in the way, or we have to actually respond and help them. The personnel that are out here are highly trained and skilled in searching and rescue efforts, so we're going to continue to rely on that at this time. If that changes, we will obviously reach out through our media partners and through our social media and asking for additional help. Okay?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the children? I know you gave us some ages yesterday. I heard that they might be siblings, 2 of them, another a family friend. Can you give us a little bit more?
Yeah, that's correct. I don't know which ones are the siblings and the family friends, but there's 2 males and a female, 6 years old and 7-year-old. The female is 6 years of age, and one of them is brother and sister of each. I don't know which.
And then the others, their names are...
Yes, they are friends. They've been friends and go to school together, yes.
Can you confirm that their names are Noah, Levi, and...
I cannot confirm the names of children at this time.
So they were walking on this trail and they went missing. Like, is there any water near this trail?
Well, it's not any water that I know of, but it is the National Forest. It is a trail that cuts through from one residence to the other, so it is a heavily dense populated area, or a heavily dense area.
So
Sorry.
where did they pick up with the search this morning exactly?
Well, they have grids set up, so that's it's a very methodical thing that they do when they search. So after they go through a certain area, they mark that off and then start with the new area on their next search pattern. So right now they're still close to where they were last seen, but they're expanding that area now with the additional resources they have, and the daylight hours are able to help with that.
Were the kids out last night just playing, and then they were going over to each of their houses, or what exactly was going on?
That's correct. It was early when they left the house. It was still daylight when they left to go from one house to the other, and then once they didn't, the parents assumed that they were at each other's house, and once they figured out that they were not there, they then immediately called the sheriff's office.
Around what time would you say these kids were out when you said it was daytime?
I'm sorry, I don't have that time. I just know that it was earlier, and then we got the call around 7:50.
How are the families doing right now?
They're obviously extremely worried. They haven't seen their children all night. They're worried and concerned for them. They have a great support network with them. We have members of our chaplain team down there as well. The community, I know that they've seen the messages. They see the outpouring of support from the community. This neighborhood is extremely small and very tight, so the neighbors are over there helping and providing comfort and support for them as well.
Did the neighbors see anything?
No, not at this time. Right now, this is being treated simply as a lost person, a missing persons investigation at this time.
And the trail, like, is it how distance between?
I haven't seen. I've been told it's a very short distance, that it's not abnormally long for children of that age to walk, but I have not seen it myself.
And I have heard that there are sex offenders that live in this area. Have you all been checking?
All that's been checked as standard protocol to when it does there. Everybody in the neighborhood is checked.
Did you find any leads, something that can help to the authorities to know exactly what happened?
Well, that's exactly what we believe it is at this time, based on the information that we have, is that the children went into the woods on the trail, and that somehow, some way during that part of the trail, they became lost, disoriented. So we're searching through that entire wooded area with the help of the Forestry Service, who are experts in this area, to try to locate the children.
It's been like a 12 hours right now since they disappeared. These weather conditions could affect the search?
Correct. It could affect some of the air assets that we could deploy to the search area, but it's not going to affect the manpower that we're putting on the ground.
Have you all searched the lake as well?
I don't have if they've gone that far yet or not into it.
Two questions. So you say the distance between the two homes is not that far. Would you say half a mile or just a few feet away?
Well, not a few feet away. I mean, I would say definitely under half a mile from what a rough guess estimate. Yes.
And then these kids are used to taking this trail to each other's homes.
That's correct.
It's not the first time they've done this.
That's correct.
So is there any indication, I don't know, if they kind of trailed off the trail and went into the woods where there's a lot of brush and it's thick?
That's the assumption that we're under right now, that they've entered the woods and that they went off of the trail for some reason, whatever reason that may have, and we don't know. And that's why we're concentrating our search efforts in that area.
Did you find footsteps or anything?
They have been able to track some stuff with the use of dogs, so I don't know how far that is. That's why it's really important for personnel not to come to the area, because it could contaminate the scent of where the dogs are looking and going to right now.
And I gotta ask you the timing, I know the time is of the essence here because first of all, this weather condition isn't helping and they're such little kids. I mean, how is that impacting the search group?
We're working around the clock. We have not stopped. We're going to continue to keep it. We have our teams built into shifts. We're no stranger to this at all. So we know time is of the essence. The kids are out there. We want to find them quick. We want to get closure for the community and especially for the family. Our hearts go out to the family right now. I as a father, I can't even imagine what they're going through, throughout the night with not having their children at home in their bed safe. So our hearts are definitely pouring for them right now.
We are talking about just children. I couldn't imagine they are inside of the forest. What kind of dangerous situation could face they inside of the forest?
You're absolutely correct. I mean, we're taking that into account. That's why we're working so hard and diligently to do that. We know that there's wildlife, animals out there. There's the dense brush. There's all kinds of other hazards out there that are in the way that the children are not prepared for at their age. And we're out there, have all the resources, medical personnel on standby to continue this throughout the day.
And you guys don't want any neighbors, like anybody that lives in the neighborhood, to help with these things?
Oh, we have plenty of personnel. Additionally, we can call additional personnel from outside the area in to help if we need it. We have plenty of help that are highly skilled and trained in this area, especially in search and recovery efforts. They have the equipment, the tools, even the attire to be able to wear out in this weather and in these conditions to look for these children. So at this point, we are good for that. With that,
Have the parents ever said that the kids have gotten lost before?
I don't have that information.
And what about any pictures of the kids?
We do have the pictures, and once that decision's made by the search teams to release that, it's good. Obviously, we're just telling anybody, if you see 3 children in the area that are walking around, because this is being treated as a lost person, to please notify the sheriff's office or dial 911.
And the search perimeter, would you say that you guys are still looking nearby this subdivision, or are you looking further?
That's correct. No, it's expanding out. I mean, it's not just the subdivision. Remember, it's attached to the National Forest, as you can see here with the sign. So it's now expanding inside to the National Forest more and more. And the search efforts inside the neighborhood have not stopped. Again, we've had this happen in previous incidents where kids went to neighbors' houses or other houses, and other parents didn't know that they were there and they were sleeping. So door-to-door canvases have been done or to continue to being done. It's an all-in effort by our search teams.
And I heard the search was really challenging last night because of how dark it is and how dense this forest
Correct.
is. Can you talk about that?
It is. It's extremely dense, and that's why we had to bring additional resources and postpone it at 3 o'clock with the stuff that we had. It's very dense. It's very scary in there. It's very thick. So we want to make sure we have the additional resources and the advantage of daylight to help us.
You guys plan to be on out here throughout the
We're going to be here until we find it. Yes.
Did you say how big of an area you guys were searching with
It's going to continue to expand. So
Do you have like a number? Like
no, not at this time. I mean, as they search the area and they clear that area, the area continues to expand outward even more and more and more, and they'll cover the whole forest if they have to.
So obviously 2 families are impacted right now, 2 sets of parents. Can you tell us again how those parents are?
Well,
Have you had a chance to talk to them, see them?
I haven't, but I have talked to some of the others that have, and I can tell you that they're appreciative of the support, they're appreciative of the community, they're appreciative of all of our efforts. They're just worried they want their babies home. So I could totally relate to that, and my heart goes out to them. I hope that we can get them some closure to get their kids home to them soon, very soon.
And when will there be another update?
As soon as I have additional information, we will post that or call for y'all to meet us back here again and do that. We'll also, if it's small little updates, we'll push it out to y'all and also push it through our social media. I just want to remind people, please try not to come to the scene. We know you want to help, and we're so grateful for your servant hearts. But we will have heavy equipment, additional equipment, first responders coming here, and the roads are extremely narrow. It's very difficult to get that equipment down there and then locate the personnel that those vehicles belong to get them to move them to get the equipment down there. So we don't want to do anything that could hinder any efforts. Yes, sir. That's our normal protocol, to be here to help not only our first responders or family, to plug in them, to be able to provide any type of emotional or spiritual support we can do. Yes, sir.
And the particular road you're on, the narrow road, further up, is that where the children's homes
Yes,
are
that's
located?
correct. Yes.
Gotcha. So is the trail behind the house, or how exactly is that set up?
It's to the side of the house and then leads to the other street neighborhood. So yes. And as you can tell, this is one of the big parts of the forest where it comes down, as you can see with the signs here. Okay?
Thank you, Scott.
All right, everybody good? Okay. All right, thank y'all.